so I asked you guys, I'm not sure, I did it kind of late, but I asked you guys to have ChatGPT ready to rock for today's call. So let me know in the chat's probably best. Let me know when you have ChatGPT pulled up. Miranda's ready. Miranda's always ready. Come on. I knew that. Sweet. I see 3 people ready, 4 people ready. Perfect. Great. Okay. As the rest of you guys are getting that ready, I will continue on here. All right. So ChatGPT is going to work to the degree that we can give it an appropriate prompt. All right. So on our coaches meeting today, our coach manager, her name is Alex Brown. She actually brought this prompt to the call. And we actually went through this same exercise with the NLCA coaches. And I was like, man, this is so freaking good. I got to bring it to the students today. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this prompt. It might be too long for me to drop it in the chat. So I'm actually going to split it up. So this is going to be a 2-parter, but just make sure you submit it into ChatGPT as one sentence or one paragraph rather. So that's part 1. And this is part 2. All right, so if you have like a Google Doc or somewhere that you can make that one message, let's make sure that we transfer it over to do that first. Okay, once it's on a Google Doc or a Word doc or whatever, in one sentence, just like this, what I want you guys to do is right now it's written in the context of NLCA, right? So you're going to see it says the company name is the Next Level Coaching Academy. It describes, our company and what we do. It describes our ideal client, right? So I want you to go in there and I want you to replace everything that speaks to NLCA with your company to the most detail that you possibly can. All right. So the first part of this, we don't want to change anything. Right. So this first paragraph that I sent you guys here, don't change a thing. Everything that you're going to change is going to be in the second paragraph here. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys some time, probably take like 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure that you change that out with as much detail as you can for your company. And then I want you guys to put it into ChatGPT when you're done. And if you have any questions, obviously let me know. And then not expecting you guys to have it done, but whenever you are, just let me know in the chat. Anybody need any help? Good, 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 good.
My computer's acting stupid, so hold on.
Oh no, no rush. We got plenty of time. D submitted. Sweet. Everybody else still working? Sweet. All right, I'll give you guys more time.
I just have a quick question. So we put the whole thing into ChatGPT and then just tweak that second half.
Yeah, so the first part I sent you, no change. The second part is the thing that you're changing, but put it in all as one message.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, Kirsten is done. MC. All right, beautiful. Okay. Great, great, great. Looks like you guys are doing awesome. All right. A few things I want to share just to be helpful is with the prompt here, right? So like I said, what we provide ChatGPT, to the degree that we provide it the right information, is the degree that it's going to give us exactly what we're looking for here. So I just want to read this prompt and kind of dissect some of the parts that are important. So using the story brand framework, SB7 framework, created by Donald Miller, which by the way, it's a book, and the coaches are reading this book actively. So that's why they included this in the prompt. Act as a world-class copywriter. So when we tell ChatGPT how to act, it will do exactly that. So if we tell it to be a world-class copywriter or world-class marketer, that's exactly how it's going to show up. All right, please provide me with the character, story gap, desire, relevant to survival, and the problem, villain, external, internal, and philosophical problem for the following company. All right, and then this part's really important in the prompt. I expect you'll give me candid and direct feedback. Please don't worry about my feelings. All right, so now we're telling it how to give us feedback. All right, then we need to tell it the goal. So in this case, the goal is to fine tune the marketing message for the health and fitness coaching company to nurture prospects and build trust and respect. Once you are done providing feedback, go back and reread your suggestions and then make your response twice as good. I highly recommend that when you tell ChatGPT to do something, you also tell it to give itself feedback and then rewrite it twice as good for whatever, whether you guys are doing that for captions or whatever you're having it do. That last part of the prompt there is something that you can carry over into multiple different use cases. All right, now let's be more specific. So let me get to where I did this for myself. All right, so the first version is going to be its rough draft. We don't need to look at the rough draft, right? What you should be seeing on your screen is it should say twice as good enhanced version or some variation of that. On y'all's screen, does it say that? Just want to confirm that you guys are seeing that. Miranda, no? What does yours say, Miranda?
Mine just has the list of stuff starting with the character, the problem, and the feedback, but it's just one answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Or
Same
no,
with me.
wait, no, I disregard it. It says revised response, so never mind.
Yep.
Sorry,
Perfect.
I didn't look.
All good. Somebody else said same though. Who was that?
I didn't see the enhanced version in mine.
Who's speaking? Sorry.
D, this is
Oh,
D.
D. Hey, D. Okay, you still don't see it?
Mm-hmm.
What
Mine
version?
says revamped, and twice as
Okay,
good.
good. Yeah, revamped is good. Any variation of enhanced or revamped, that's what we're looking for. You don't see anything like that though, D?
No.
What version of
It
ChatGPT?
oh, it actually, you know what?
Oh,
It says now to elevate this framework,
okay.
I guess.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. All right. if you guys don't have the best version of ChatGPT for this call, that's totally fine. Highly recommend if you are using, so if you look at my screen here, you have the legacy model, which is GPT-4. That's the older version. And then the newer version is GPT-4.0 or 0 or whatever that is. It's just 20 bucks a month. It's a tax write-off, but it does significantly improve its ability. So it is, in my opinion, worth the 20 bucks a month. All right. Anyways, let's break this all down. All right. So the goal of this is to help you guys better understand your ideal client, so we know exactly how to market to this individual. All right. So let's all direct our attention towards your enhanced version. All right. So the first thing here we have is defining the character, which in any story, remember, this is the storybook playbook. In any story, there is a hero and there is a villain. All right, so we want to think about when we are marketing to our ideal client, we want to be talking to this story, right? Because they are actively living out this story in their own lives. And the more we can speak to the story that they are going through, the more we're going to connect to said individual. All right, so let's break down each of these parts here. So we're going to talk about the character, AKA the hero. All right, so this first section here is the story gap. So I'm going to read mine. All right. And then I'll help you guys make sense of yours. All right. So the hero of our story, and this is once again the NLCA ideal client, the hero of our story is a highly capable yet unfulfilled corporate professional, someone who excelled in fields like medicine, IT, or sales, but finds her or himself yearning for more. Despite her professional success, I don't know why it says she, I'm just going to go with it. She feels a profound emptiness trapped in her routine that no longer resonates with who she is. Every day is a battle against the suffocating monotony of a career that offers little beyond a paycheck and status. She dreams of escaping a life where she works aligned with her passion for fitness, but she stands at the edge of a vast chasm, unsure of how to leap from the job that drains her to a career that invigorates her. Right. So that's the story gap for our ideal client. Currently, they're in a corporate job that they hate. It's not providing them fulfillment, and they have a passion for fitness, and they want to make this their reality. Right. So that's the gap. That's where they're at, and that's where they want to be. So for you guys, when you're reading yours, you should be understanding, or what you should be taking away from that is the gap, where they're at and where they want to be. All right. So that's important information for you guys to have. My recommendation is read. Obviously, you can read it while we're on the call, but I would recommend rereading it in your own time. But more importantly, having this all on a Google Doc. And when you go to make a piece of content, I would be looking at this, right? And I would be taking little bits and pieces, whether it's words, how things are described, or just general ideas and concepts from this to then make content on. All right, so this doc should help you guys with content a lot. All right, so that's the story gap, where they're at, where they want to go. All right, now the desire relevant to survival. I'm going to read mine once again, and then I'll help you guys make sense of yours. All right, so her or him, their deepest desire is liberation from the corporate chains that confine her potential, limit her happiness, and deplete her energy. She seeks not just the financial freedom that comes with running a successful business, but also the personal freedom to live a life that truly fulfills her. This isn't about leaving a job. It's about reclaiming her life, rediscovering her joy, and building a business that allows her to flourish on her own terms. Her survival depends on breaking free from the corporate trap and enhancing a life where work and passion coexist harmoniously. All right, so once again, this is the desire relevant to survival. So basically, if she succeeds in this story, quote unquote, this is going to be the life that she has, right? The end result, speaking to the end result, right? So this is how they would describe the end result. So the more that we can talk like they would talk, the more we're going to resonate with them in our content. So this is very, very important information that you guys have right at your disposal there on how to speak to your client's goals, right? It may not be how you guys are currently marketing to your goals. Let me actually ask you guys that. After you've read that on your own terms, would you guys say that you are speaking in that way in your content, or do you think there's area for improvement there? And you guys can blur it out loud. I don't care.
Definitely room for improvement.
Improvement. Sweet. Good. All right. That makes me happy. That makes me feel like we're getting somewhere here. All right. So that's the hero, right? We talked about the story gap, where they're at, where they want to be. We talked about what happens when they reach this end goal, right? The next thing we're going to talk about is the villain, right? Every story has a villain. If it didn't have a villain, it would be a very, very boring story, right? All the movies that we like have villains. And then I'm actually going to completely steal this from our coach manager, but also the best marketing has villains as well. All right, I'm going to give you a few examples, same examples that our coach manager provided on our meeting today. If you ever seen a Mucinex commercial, right? They make the boogers, or whatever you want to call them, they turn them into villains, right? They look like these grotesque blobs. They're green, right? They give them kind of a nasty voice in the Mucinex commercial. They are painting that experience of being congested as the villain, right? And then Mucinex solves that problem, right? And then sometimes when you see like a Swiffer commercial, they'll create these evil looking dust bunnies in the commercial, and then Swiffer comes in to save the day and kills off the villain. All right, so we need, when we're speaking to our ideal client, we need to appropriately be highlighting what is the villain, right? So just like those commercials, we can connect the dots that our program is the solution. All right, so problem. All right, this first section here is villain, right? So when you guys read this on your end, that's the villain that we are speaking to. All right, so that should be pretty cut and dry, right? I shouldn't have to explain that. Like, that's the villain, that's the problem, that's the person that we're speaking to there. All right, now we're going to go a layer deeper. So we have external problem and internal problem. I'm going to use our ideal client as an example. All right, so the external problem is the reason why this person hasn't left their corporate job yet to go full-time as an entrepreneur. All right, I'll save you guys the time of reading this, but basically it's the fact that corporate provides security, right? So if I'm going to attract a unfulfilled corporate professional who has a passion for fitness, right, I'm going to have to label that security in their job is a problem to them reaching their dreams. The security is holding them down. It's pulling them back from reaching this dream life that they have, right? That's the external problem. Okay. So now the internal problem is what's going on in their minds, right? What's going on in their minds, which in this case, speaking to NLCA's ideal client, it's fear and doubt, right? Security, that's the external problem, security in their day job, the nice corporate salary, the benefits, whatever. But internally, they're terrified. They're fearful, right? You guys are probably like, yeah, wow, okay, this is actually pretty dead accurate on my experience prior to joining the program, right? So internals, what's their internal dialogue, what's going on inside. We want to speak to both. We want to speak to the external problem, but we also want to speak to the internal problem, right? And all of this is pieces of content for you. And it doesn't always have to be an individual piece of content, but we have to make sure that we are speaking to these things. We have to make sure that we're speaking to the villain, the external problem holding them back, and the internal problem that's holding them back as well. Any questions so far?
No.
Good. How's it? Is this helpful for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you gonna go over by chance like how we can use this with content, like the execution method, or is it just kind of giving us ideas?
I wasn't planning on it, but we definitely can.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah. No, we definitely can. Let's
Okay.
put a pin in that, and then let's see how we're doing on time. Yeah, when I get through this, let's chat about it and we can talk through it.
Cool.
All right, so then we have the philosophical problem. All right, so I'm going to speak to NLCAs to help you guys make sense of yours. So philosophically, our clients are wrestling with the fundamental question of purpose, right? Society tells her that she should be content with a well-paying job, but deep down, she knows there's more to life than this. She's caught in a moral dilemma. Continue down the path of least resistance, sacrificing her happiness for security, or take the leap into the unknown to pursue a life that truly aligns with her values. The philosophical struggle is between playing it safe and risking everything, right? So it's like cognitive dissonance, right? There's like it's like the God on one shoulder and devil on the other shoulder, right? It's the back and forth that they have in their mind, right? So when we understand this, we understand where our client is at, right? We can speak to this as well, right? You have these two opposing forces that are going on in their head. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, the next prompt that we're going to do, I just got to pull up my doc. Excuse me. Okay, great. So I want you guys to put this prompt that I just put in the Zoom chat into ChatGPT. Okay, I'm assuming that was quick. So everyone's probably got that one done. All right, so what is the prompt? Based on these problems, based on everything that we discussed, what does the client want internally, externally, and philosophically? All right, so everything that we just went over was helping you guys get an understanding. Right now, we're going to figure out like what do they actually want as a result of that. All right, so internal desire. All right, more specifically, the NLCA client wants confidence and self-belief, fulfillment and passion, and control and autonomy. Right, so this helps us craft our messaging. Right, a lot of times we think they want one thing, but really behind it all, they want this other thing that we're not even speaking to in our content. Right, maybe we think that they want to look good, but behind it all, it's actually about confidence and self-belief. Right, so we want to make sure that we're actually speaking to the internal desire that they have as a result of achieving whatever it is that your program promises. Right, so what you should see on your screen is the layer deeper of what you probably think that they want as a result of doing your program. Right, I'm sure you guys would agree that what you really want from NLCA on the external, right, you want money, right, you want all those things, but behind it all, you probably want more confidence and self-belief. You probably want more fulfillment and passion out of your life and your career. And more importantly, you probably want more control and autonomy of your life as well that maybe your previous career wasn't giving you. Right, so in my marketing, I have to speak to those things. Okay, so that's the internal desire. Those are going to be, the internal is more powerful. Like speaking to that is a hell of a lot more powerful than the external desire. The external desire is more the surface level stuff, right? So in my case, it would be a successful business. For you, maybe it's a, rockin' body, a nice butt, six pack, right? Like those are more the external desires, financial independence, and a thriving client base, right? Those are more the external things, which still powerful, right? A lot of times those are the things that are more eye-catching that get them in. But if you're failing to do the other thing, which is speaking to their internal desire, it could fall on deaf ears. You could just be the next coach who talks about getting a butt, right? Because every coach is doing that, right? But if you can get them in on how to sculpt their glutes, but then also hit to their pain points, their internal desires, that's going to separate you from the rest, which is a big question that everybody has. How do you separate yourself from the rest? The answer is simple. The more you know your person, the more you can talk to your person and relate to that person, the more you're going to stand out versus every other fitness coach on this call, in this program, and in all other programs as well. All right. Then we have the philosophical desires, right? So speaking back to the cognitive dissonance, in our case, it would be living authentically, making a positive impact, and redefining success, right? Because what was the cognitive dissonance for our person? It was wrestling with the status quo versus living a life that is different. Well, if this person lives a life that's different, they're going to feel a lot more authentic with their true self, right? They're going to be able to create a positive impact, and they're going to be able to redefine success, where previously it might have been getting a corporate job. Now it's being an entrepreneur. Cool. All right, one more prompt. And Miranda, this will give you some tactical stuff because I know that's what you're looking for, which is good. Let me just make sure I copy the right stuff. Okay, great. So this is going to be the last prompt. So this is going to help you guys create 10 hooks, right? Which a hook, once again, redefining terms, is the first 5 seconds of your video. What are you saying in your video, right? So the prompt here is please create 10 content hooks for social media posts on on social media with these external, internal, and philosophical problems in mind. Make these hooks attention grabbing so that somebody scrolling would stop in their tracks and read more, right? So this could be the first 5 seconds of your video, or it could be the first sentence if you're doing a written post. Everybody put that prompt in? Amazing. Cool. I'll let you guys look at those on your own time when we're off the call. All right, let's have a little discussion about all this stuff, and then we can do any questions and things of that nature as well. All right, so what did you guys notice? Like when we were going through this, did you guys have any major takeaways on like, ah, man, like now I'm going to be able to speak this way to this client? Anything like that? And if so, what was it?
I think mine had mentioned something. Of course I lost it, but like speaking on like their emotional pain points rather than just like, oh, this might be a problem, this is how to fix it. You know, like kind of get to their why of the why. I just can't find it where I saw it first. But
Sweet. So more emotional pain points that you could speak to.
yeah.
Beautiful. What else for you guys? What else
Some
are
of the
yeah, let's go.
some of the words that I like the words that it's using. It's like they want to feel proud of themselves, overcoming inadequacies, and just the verbiage is really, I feel like I can go deeper with that verbiage.
Yep, inadequate. Oof, that's a strong word. That's a very strong word. Yeah, like I said, take away the words, the phrases, the sentences, or the overarching themes, and let's use that in our content. What were some other aha moments for you guys?
I think it's actually validating what I already know about the
Mm,
people and it's kind of like helping me to expand in much greater detail what I'm seeing already, which is super helpful and exactly what I need.
yeah, it's also cool to know like, wow, okay, this software is actually legit because like
Yeah.
we see it on our end, but then it produces the same stuff. It's like, wow, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, a lot of good material here.
Amazing. Anybody else have an aha moment?
I think
I
for
guess it's kind
me,
of like,
and this
oh,
is
sorry.
go on.
No, go ahead.
So basically for me, and Chad, this is D, by the way. For
Yeah,
me
I see you.
also, it was kind of like, oh, like digging deeper into my ideal client. I already knew their pain points, but this was, just like kind of giving a little bit more deeper insight into, those feelings that they actually feel. And for me, the light bulb moment is like the content that I'm pushing out on social media could be changed so much more, because like right now what I'm pushing out doesn't really, because I just started, it doesn't really cater to my target audience. And like now it's giving me like these ideas as to like, oh, this makes sense, like this is probably what they want to see and not what I'm posting. So for me that was a big one.
Yeah, it removes the guesswork, right? Of like, oh, I think
Yeah,
they want this, but now you can know
yeah,
more confidently.
exactly.
Here's a more direct question. Who feels like they were speaking more to their clients external rather than their internal?
I think I am. And for me, it confirms everything that I went through from an emotional point of view and that I'm too afraid to share. So it
Mm,
confirms that I have to be a lot more vulnerable and share my story from an emotional point of view and not from a, let's say, bodybuilder or, workouts and nutrition. Like I have to talk about that too. But what I need to talk about is my emotional struggles as a woman.
yeah, the truth will set us free.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. The more we hide our truth, we can't help as many people. I like that. Thanks for sharing. Dylan, I saw you raise your hand as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it was good perspective, like the internal versus external. Like I think everyone kind of knows like externally what they want, but maybe if you were like showing external results while speaking to the internal side of it and like overlaying that with like video footage and like speaking to the internal while doing that. So good perspective.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know we had our conversation not too long ago, but think about your journey, right? Like externally, yeah, we want the business and we want all that. But for you, I know it's like the past 6 years, you haven't been happy with your current career, right? So it's
Yeah.
really fulfillment.
Yep.
Yep, 100%. Cool, y'all. All right, action items as a result of this. Let's go around the room. What are you guys going to do specifically as a result of today's training?
I think I'm going to start fixing my content.
Yeah, how so?
Definitely start. So I think a lot of content that I was pushing was more about like me and my workouts and like my life at the gym or whatever. But I think now I'm just gonna start catering it more to and my ideal client is like a busy corporate professional who's like struggling to just like stay fit. So I think a lot of my content is going to start changing, just giving them like, oh, like you have 10 minutes and this is what you should do with your neck and things like that. So I think that was one for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because this book, the Story Brand Framework, it talks about how in your content you need to make your client the hero of your posts, not yourself. So I love that. That was great. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
gonna piggyback off that and say,
Let's do
like,
it.
yeah, I definitely need to start going more towards my ideal client rather than just myself.
Yep. And all of it's within balance, right? Like you guys should still share parts of your life because people need to know who you are. But when you're specifically giving value, whether it's tips or whatever, we want to speak to that person.
So I just wanted to add, my takeaway will be to be a little bit more brave. I am my ideal client, so I need to speak to, more of the internal and be brave and just put it out there. Let them know that, hey, I'm here. I'm going through it, so I get you, but I can help you. So this was a very good exercise, definitely.
I'm glad you think so, Christina. Who else on this call had to go through the being brave of posting challenge? Do you want to speak to it, Malin?
I feel the exact same way. I think it's a great word, courageous, brave, all that stuff. I just know the more I speak my truth, the more engagement I get. And just the more I speak my truth, people really, really love that a lot more than just like the typical content you see out there. That's what I'm really getting from all this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Who else has gone through that same struggle? Bravery of posting.
Let me just say I hate making videos for social media. So I'm still like getting over that thing about putting myself out there. Yeah.
What helps you do it?
I don't know. I sometimes I just like have to make them and just like without thinking post it. But it's just for me, even just like going and making content it just feels like such a chore. It's like this other thing that I have to like plan and like edit and like it's just a chore. And some days it just comes to me naturally and I'll just put it out there. So I just need to be a little bit more spontaneous and like think less and like not overthink about it, I guess.
Yeah, all very valid points. All right, let's just do we got 15 minutes left, or I guess 14 minutes left now. Let's do Q&A. It could be about today's topic, it could be anything in general, but let's open the floor. What questions do you guys have? Or challenges or whatever? None. We're all perfect.
I'll go. I'll ask my kind of like my last question. How would you don't have to say like on everything, but like what are some examples you can like execute this? Would you say in a carousel post or a reel or a talking head reel? Like
I think you could do any variation of those with this. So I think the hooks are a great place to start. Each hook is also a content idea. right? So when you go through those 10 hooks that it gave you, I would also just make those pieces of content. And any piece of content you can create in any medium. You can create a video, you can transcribe that video into written, you can make a long form video, right? So like a YouTube video or a podcast. So the medium doesn't have to be specific. It's you just have to have the idea first. So one other prompt you can do in your own time as well, Miranda, is you can take those 10 hooks, or you don't have to take the 10 hooks, but you can just ask with everything that it provided to give you more content ideas as well.
Okay.
So if
Thank
you
you.
said, hey, with everything that we chatted about today, please provide me 10 content ideas that would speak to my ideal avatar here.
Okay.
Yeah. Was that more or less what you were needing, or were you looking for more?
Yeah, no, like I think what I struggle with is like I have all these ideas like in my head written down. I'm like, oh, I have all of this stuff I can post. Then when it comes time to post it, I'm like, I have trouble coming from brain to paper. Like, how do I get this message out? And so that's my struggle.
Do you have an example?
No, not like off the top of my head, but like anything I come up with, you know, like any hooks I have, I'm like, oh, this is such a good idea. And then I'm like, well, how do I execute it?
Yeah,
So,
I feel the same way. I feel the same way with a lot of ideas that come to my head. I'm like, I have all of this in my head. Like I want to collaborate with like this person, but like how am I going to execute it? Like what am I,
mhm.
you know, if I had to give advice to somebody, I can, but like just putting it in action myself is hard.
Mhm.
Do you guys like have pen and paper and say, all right, here's the hook, and then you create the supporting parts of the content? Or what's your process?
I guess it kind of
Um,
depends on what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you had an example, I'd really be able to help here. Do you
Let
have
me go
like,
through my, yeah, let me go through my notes real quick.
I
'Cause
just
it's
want
like, no, go ahead, sorry.
I think one thing that holds me back sometimes too, because I have the exact same thing. I have so much content idea. But then I get stuck in, I need this to be a theme or similar to what I am about, or how do I make it all fit together? So that's where my bottleneck comes, instead of just like doing what comes up naturally and randomly or whatever.
why does it have to all fit together?
I have no idea. I think that's the story I'm telling myself, or what I think I've been told by people. I don't know.
Yeah. So by all put together, can you define that a little bit more? What does that mean? It all has to go together.
Like aesthetic might need to look a little bit similar. My message needs to kind of fit into these categories, my content pillars, whatever. I think that it feels like that's what I've been being told, but it probably doesn't have to be so strict.
You're
No.
trying to make your post fit into parameters that you put for yourself, and I
Buckets.
wouldn't do that. Just what works for me is once that you have the idea, that usually it comes like fire. Don't stop there. Let your mind go, and you will come up with a post or a reel. You will see it and you will know the format, but you just have to keep your mind go. Don't let it stop and then write it down, because otherwise, at least I am going to forget. And if I don't write it down, it's like, shit, what was the idea that I had yesterday? But don't think about any parameters or formats or anything. Just let your imagination or that creativity that it starts run free. And then you will figure it out, the details. But don't start thinking about, oh, I have to do it in this format. I have to speak in this way. It's going to be oriented for these people. Just let it go through all the way, and then see the idea very clearly in your mind. And once that you have that, then you can shape it.
Well said, Elena. Very well
I
said.
love that.
Yeah. For
Thank
me, it all comes down to, yeah, your style, right? For me, I work very, very well off the cuff. Like, for example, today's talk that I made, I made like 30 minutes before. I was inspired. I was like, this is what I'm talking about today. Let's fucking go. Right. So I don't have like, I don't work within boxes very well. It's the same thing with my time management. Like a lot of people, they'll have every hour blocked out on Google Calendar. That's not how I work. I wake up, I say, all right, what 3 things are going to move the business forward today? Cool. Whenever I get those done, I'm good. And the times I do them, it doesn't fucking matter. Right. So it's figuring out what helps you post consistently to your ideal client. And if that's a framework, follow the framework. If it's not, screw it.
I like that a lot because I resonate with that as well.
Yeah.
Can I just add something real quick?
Yeah. Please.
And for me, one thing that I'm struggling now that I'm being braver, if that's, even, is it's posting on Instagram on a computer and on a phone is completely different. And trying to like create these like postings, like if you go to my page, I only have like 5 postings right now, but like, all this stuff on this like on the with the picture and stuff, it's like trying, like I'm just finding it a little bit cumbersome to like do, have to do part on my phone, part on the computer, or if I do it on my phone, it's like it's so confusing because I don't post, I don't, this is new for me. So I don't know if you have any recommendations of any maybe apps or any other things other than Canva that could be helpful to do it from my phone to post onto Instagram, because posting from Instagram directly is fucking nightmare. Sorry.
That's okay. I'll make it very easy for you. Don't post from your computer. Always post from your phone. And then if you're talking about video editing, CapCut is great. I know a lot of the students use CapCut. Personally, and this is just my personal preference, I like doing all my video editing in TikTok. And then in the editor, it allows you to save it without the watermark too. You just have to make sure you do it in the editor, not after you post it. I just like the way the interface is for TikTok editing. But I do know a lot of people use CapCut. Picture editing Canva is great. You don't need anything else other than Canva. All right, what other questions you guys got?
I have a question about the Facebook groups. If we can just go to that a little bit.
Yeah,
I think I posted, huh?
last week's combo.
Yeah. Right after like that night, I was looking at different groups and things, but I'm just hesitant towards it because a lot of the groups that I found either had a bunch of people already posting like their own thing, or it was an actual like fitness page that these like a fitness group started. I'm like, okay, can I even like go on there? Do I still join those groups, or do I need to find something that's not as busy with other people posting stuff that they have? I just wasn't sure how far to go.
So, okay, I just want to make sure I'm hearing your question right. There's groups
Yeah.
out there, and you see a lot of other fitness coaches already in the group, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Who's your ideal client?
Busy mom trying to just love herself again and get healthy for her family so she can enjoy her life with them.
What groups? Talk me through what you were searching.
I was looking for like local groups in my area for like busy moms or mom meetups, moms in fitness.
Cool. All good searches. Let's go. So we have to get creative sometimes with strategies like this. So what do you notice they like to do in their spare time?
Drink coffee.
Great. So is it unreasonable to think that if we join a coffee group, that your ideal client would be in there?
Yes, that's
right?
awesome. Yeah.
So here's another example. Let's say they love Lululemon. Is it unreasonable to think if you join a Lululemon group that your ideal client's also in there? So
Yeah.
it doesn't always have to be moms in Austin, Texas. It can also be relevant groups to things they like to do.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Good question too. I got time for uno más.
This is a quick one, but I guess I'm just being a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to like the intro post and picking a company name. So I guess any quick advice on like, is it super important? I guess like once you pick your name, you kind of stick with that name forever, I guess. So that's why I'm just kind of indecisive about that, I guess.
Um, well, your program, your LLC is locked in, but you don't have to say your LLC in your intro post. Your program name can change though. Usually in the beginning, it's like Dylan Dupree Fitness, right? And then eventually you kind of you start getting some clients. You start saying like, oh wow, all right, I've signed on a lot of clients. I've noticed that in your case, MMA people are the most consistent one. Let me rebrand and make the program speak to that person. So it's okay to start off with something very generic and basic. And then usually as your company matures, you kind of find your footing, much like in life, right? In the beginning, we don't know who the hell we are. And then we figure out who we are later in life. So same thing with your business. So I guess it doesn't matter is what I'm saying.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. I can do one more. If I wanted to say, I don't know if anybody speaks Spanish on the call. If I wanted to say, I have time for one more question, what would I say?
Tengo tiempo para
una
una
más.
pregunta más.
Okay, so tengo tiempo. What I missed that other part.
Para una
Para
pregunta
una pregunta más.
más.
Okay. Cool. I'll remember that. Well, who's got it? Who's got the last one? Going once, going twice. Thumbs
I
up. Let's do it. I knew it. That always gets people.
Super quick, just what posts have been giving you the most engagement lately? I know you've been doing a lot of reels.
Yeah,
Just-
I like sorry to cut you off. I like the personal journey still. I think that's a good center point. And then like documenting a journey that you're going through. But then the ones that I think are working really well, not just for myself, but even for people way bigger than me, is the 3 to 5 second video with text overlay on it. And if you go to my page, there's a few that got a good amount of views. One where I'm doing burpees and then I have a little write-up on it. Like stuff exactly like that has been doing well for generally in the industry.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yep. And then there was another one that did well of mine recently where I was with my wife and we were eating sushi. And then I had a quick little write-up on the screen as well.
Nice. Thank you.
Yep. You're very welcome. All right, y'all. Terminar would be finished, right? And then buenos
Terminamos.
Terminamos. Buenos noches, mi amigos.
Bye bye. Adiós.
Adiós. Hasta luego.
Adiós.